Shalom everybody, thank you again for joining us. I want to thank again my brother, my dear brother-in-law, for giving me the zechus and the merit to share with you some Divrei Torah. We're holding by the 9th day of the Omer, and one of the biggest paradox that comes when it comes to Sefirat HaOmer is the emotion that goes into it. We all know we just finished the Yom Tov of Chag HaPesach, and we came with a lot of excitement. We had a lot of simcha and excitement for Zaman Cherotenu, the time of our redemption. But right afterwards, we start the Yemei Sfira. And we know the days of Sfira, the way we relate to it, are the sad days. There are customs, there are minhagim, that are designated for the days of Sefira, which are very much associated with the days of Avelut, days of mourning. The question is, why? Why is it that all of a sudden we finish days of Simcha and happiness of Pesach, and all of a sudden we come to the days of Avelut? What's the history behind the mourning of Sefirat HaOmer? The idea that we don't shave, we don't have weddings, we don't have bar chasanas, we try to minimize Simcha during these days. What's the reason behind it? The Gemara tells us in Masechet Yevamot, Daf Samech Bet, that Rabbi Akiva had 12,000 Talmidim, 12,000 Zugim of Talmidim, pairs of Talmidim, which comes out to 24,000 Talmidim. And they all died beperek echad. They all passed away during this period of time between Pesach and Aseret. And the Gemara tells us what's the reason behind it is because they weren't nohagu kavod ze bazeh. They were not accustomed to honor each other. They did not give appropriate honor to each other. We don't really have a full understanding what that means, that they didn't honor each other. We were talking about Gedolei Olam. We're talking about people who are Talmid HaChachamim in a much higher madrigan level than us. That's for a different discussion. What does it mean that they didn't give honor to each other? But what I really want to discuss today is why Dafka these days were designated for them to be punished. Why Dafka the days between Pesach and Shavuot? It's obvious, you could say, it's because these are the days of Hachana for Kabbalat HaTorah. These are the days of preparation for receiving of Torah. And these people were inappropriate for them to be the ones to receive the Torah because they were noheg derech eretz. Derech eretz kadmon HaTorah. They're giving kavod to each other. It's a preparation for Torah. But it has to be a much deeper reason. That exactly this period was chosen to be the days that Talmidei Rabbi Akiva, the students who were supposed to be the hemshech of the Torah Sheba'al Peh, the Mesorah to Klal Yisrael, they should die during this time. They should be punished for the fact that they weren't honoring each other. More than that, the Ramban tells us in his Pirush on Chumash that the days between Pesach and Shavuot, the days between holiday of Passover and holiday of Matan Torah, Shavuot, are really have the Kedusha of Chol Hamoed. Why? Because if you really think about it, the Yomim Tovim of Pesach and Yomim Tovim of Nisan, the Yomim Tovim of the month of Nisan and Yomim Tovim of the month of Tishrei, they parallel each other. In the month of Tishrei, we have Yom Tov of Sukkot. And then there's a last day, right after the Sukkot finishes, it's called Shemin Chag Atzeret. 7th day of Sukkot, and then we have the 8th day, which is called Shemin Chag Atzeret. The days in between are Chol Hamoed. Dr. Ramban, Lechora, it should be the same thing when it comes to Yom Tov Pesach. We should have one Yom Tov, then Chol Hamoed, then a separate Yom Tov that has its own Kedusha, its own name by itself. But by Pesach, we don't have that. We spoke about this last time. Yom Tov Pesach is all one body. The first day and the last day, they're all called Pesach. The Shivir Shel Pesach, Kriyas Yamsuf, doesn't have a different name. It's all one body. It's all called Pesach, the days of Passover, the days of Ribono Shel Olam, God taking us out of Egypt. And Aseret, Shavuot is also called Aseret. The Yom Tov of Matan Torah, the Yom Tov that we got the Torah, is also called Aseret. So Ramban learns from here that the days between holiday of Passover and the holiday of the weeks, holiday of Shavuot, the holiday of Matan Torah, the 49 days in between, they all have a Kedusha of Chol Hamoed. And we know very well, Chol Hamoed are the days of Simcha, are the days of happiness. So what is this paradox? What is this some sort of a controversial situation that we are turning from one opposite to the opposite? These days that are supposed to be days of Simcha, the days of Sefirat HaOmer, are the days of happiness, are turning into the days of sadness, are turning into the days of Abelut, because of the loss of the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva, of the students of Rabbi Akiva. Why was it that these days, these happy days of Chol Hamoed, are chosen to be the days that the Talmid of Rabbi Akiva have to be punished? To really answer this question, we really have to look into it, in the whole idea of the holidays in a deeper sense. When the Ribono Shel Olam took us out of Mitzrayim, Chazal gives it the dimyan. Chazal tell us, the Ribono Shel Olam took us out of Mitzrayim is like a child that was in Me'ei Imo, was in the stomach of his mother. That's Klal Yisrael in Mitzrayim. When Klal Yisrael came out of Mitzrayim, it's like a child that is being born. And this child is growing up during these 49 days until he reaches the age that is able to go to chuppah and get married. The holiday of Shavuot, the holiday of Matan Torah, the day Ribono Shel Olam gave us the Torah, is the day that we got married to Ribono Shel Olam. And it fits very well into the whole holiday of Pesach, because when we read the Haggadah, many people have a custom to read Shir Hashirim right after the Haggadah. Achenu ben Ashkenaz, our brothers, Ashkenazim, they even learn, they have a whole Megillah, the same way we have a Megillah, they read Megillah on Purim, they read Shir Hashirim on the Shabbat of Chol Hamoed Pesach. This year they read on the 8th day. Shir Hashirim is embedded into the days of Pesach, have a lot to do with each other. Why? Because the song of Shir Hashirim, the song that Shlomo HaMelech wrote, it's a song of a love between husband and wife. A love between Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what Shlomo HaMelech is describing in his Megillah called Megillat Shir Hashirim. It's the love of Ribono Shel Olam to Klal Yisrael and Klal Yisrael to Ribono Shel Olam. And Klal Yisrael are growing up during these 49 days. And the love is getting stronger and stronger until the day of Shavuot, that we go under the chuppah and Ribono Shel Olam gives us the Torah. The Torah is the ketubah. Now, it's love, it's simcha, it's happiness. But that's the danger of love. There is a very precise line between love and chas v'shalom, hatred. And let me emphasize, chas v'shalom, Ribono Shel Olam does not hate us. But the question is, how do we build that love? How do we relate to Ribono Shel Olam with that love? We all know the days of Sefirat Omer is the days of Hachana for Kabbalat Torah. There are 49 days, and each day corresponds to different midah, different character traits. There are 7 midot: Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Nesach, Hod, Yesod, Malchut, corresponding to the 7 weeks. And each midah has in it 7 days corresponding to the 7 midot. 7 times 7 is 49 days. We are supposed to work, each one of these days we're supposed to work on another character traits. The first week we work on Chesed. Right now we're holding in the midah of Gevura. Gevura means controlling yourself, to have a self-discipline. Every day we're working on a different character traits to prepare ourselves for Kabbalat Torah, to prepare ourselves for that love. And when it comes to Shavuot, we read, many people have a custom, have a tikkun, they read a tikkun. In the Lashon of the Zohar HaKadosh, it's called Kishute Kala. What is Kishute Kala? Is that the jewelry that a Kala wears when it comes under the chuppah, when it goes to the yichud, when it goes to the, in Persian they call it hejle. All the jewelry that the Kala wears. This is the Tanakh that we learn on the night of Shavuot. There's the preparation of the kala before he meets her groom, before the bride meets the groom. We're preparing herself. But what happens if the kala doesn't prepare herself as it's supposed to do? What happens if the kala is not careful to dress in a perfect way? What happens if the kala doesn't look at the jewelry as the way to present herself to the chatan, to the husband? Doesn't really machshiv it, doesn't give it enough chashivut. That's a catastrophe. That's a love that is not really a pure love. There's a chatzitza there. There is something in between the kala and the chatan. There's a barrier there. And that barrier, it could be something that is going to stay in their life for the years to come. The kala has to dedicate herself totally to the husband. The kala goes out of her way to dress herself in the most beautiful way, like a queen. The kala goes out of her way to wear the best jewelry that she could. It's all for the preparation. And the same with the chatan. The Ribono Shel Olam is asking us that during these days, the 49 days, we should prepare ourselves for the Kabbalat HaTorah. It's very important. Now, if we don't take advantage of it, chas v'shalom, those days itself, it could turn into a catastrophe. These are days of the Yemei Hadin, the days of judgment. Arizal tells us the reason we really don't shave during these 49 days, we're not supposed to get a haircut, it really goes beyond Avelut. It really goes beyond the days of mourning. It's really because these are the days of Din. These are the days of judgment. Why these 49 days are the days of judgment? Because when the person prepares himself, he is medaktek, he's very careful that everything that he does is in a careful way, that everything is precise, everything is done in the right way. That's why these 49 days are Yemei Adin. Because these are the days that we are growing up. We mature, we're becoming more mature, these are the days of preparation. These are the days of the Yemei Adin. They have a potential, they have a kedusha, they have a tremendous kedusha. The Ramban tells us these are days of Chol Hamoed. These are days of simcha. But at the same time, if you don't take advantage of it, chas v'shalom, it could come out in the wrong way. The Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva, we don't understand again what was their chet. We don't have a full understanding what it means. They weren't honoring each other. But to the extent that we can have some sort of a Havana, it wasn't enough of a preparation for Kabbalat HaTorah. They didn't have those midot, their character traits. Lefi madrigatam, lefi their own level. They didn't prepare themselves enough. And lo aleno, it turned backwards. It turned in the wrong way. Ribono Shel Olam said, if they're not prepared to be the one who they're transmitting the Torah to the next generation, I don't want it. I don't want them. I do not want these 24,000 Talmidim. And the story goes, they all died, and Rabbi Akiva did not give up. He went ahead and he took 5 Talmidim, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, so on and so forth. All these Talmidim, they are the ones that are transmitting the Torah Shebaal Peh to us. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai wrote Zohar HaKadosh. Stam Mishnah Rabbi Meir, Stam Sifra Rabbi Yehuda, so on and so forth. All the Torah Shebaal Peh that we have now, the Shusha Sidra Mishnah, Sifra, Sifri, the Zohar HaKadosh, the Pinimi Torah, the Nigla of the Torah, is from the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva. Now, can you imagine if instead of these 5 Talmidim, we would have 24,000 Talmidim that would have transmitted the Torah of Rabbi Akiva? There would have been tremendous amount of Torah. But we're not zoche to it, because they lack the preparation. They lack the hachana. If you don't have the preparation, the Torah itself is not the real Torah. We don't have the zivuk, we don't have that connection to the Ribono Shel Olam. In order for us to be able to connect ourselves to the Ribono Shel Olam, to give ourselves up to the Ribono Shel Olam, to the God, when it comes to Shavuot, is by emphasizing and by preparing ourselves during these 49 days. We are holding by the 9th day of Sefirat Omer. Let's try to take advantage of it. We have 40 days left. Let's try to focus on every day and how we could prepare ourselves. You know, in the Mishnah in Avot goes through the Memchet Devarim Sha'atorah Niknas Bahem, to 48 things that a person needs in order to prepare himself to learn Torah, in order to acquire the Torah, to be kind of the Torah. Let's try to work on every one of these midot, every one of these. There are Sfarim written in it. There is the Sefer of Rab Chaim Volozhin, Ruach Chaim. There is the Rishonim, Rabbi Yonah, they are written on the Mishnah in Avot. Let's take advantage of this forum. Let's take advantage of this Pirushim. Go through them. If you don't understand them, let's buy the English version. If you don't have access to it, let's go to a shiurim. Let's call the Koloshan. Let's call Google it on the YouTube, right? And try to find shiurim on these subjects. And let's try to take advantage of it. And this way, we could be zoiche to a real Kabbalah Torah, the real accepting of the Torah. Thank you very much.